We're here at NextM today, and I'm sitting here with Emma, and we're going to have a conversation about DE&I.
Yep, thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Lovely to have you. I think one of the things that comes up and top of mind is you're at EssenceMediacom. How do you work with DE&I in the company today?
Our sort of viewpoint, I guess, on this is using advertising in an authentic manner to sort of mobilize modern Britain in the UK and etc. It's so multifaceted and there's so many different parts within EssenceMediacom, and it needs to be, and we want to make sure that it's touched upon and it is included and used through all of our channels. So we have multiple different departments, like we have the culture consultants that are fantastic at do some brilliant work with our brands and our partners, for example. I'm sort of more of a programmatic in the programmatic area, so we just make sure channel by channel that we're working with DEI partners and making sure that we are supporting and making sure that we're seeing representation, which is really important, really key for us. And yeah, I think it's always on. It needs to just be there, and so folk can see themselves on the screens and see themselves in advertising. And feel included, feel that we're part of this, and I think that's what's really important. And I think what's important, and I think what people often worry is about is getting it kind of right and being authentic, because it is about authenticity.
It's a journey, right?
It is a journey, right? And we're going to make mistakes, and that's okay, but it's better to make mistakes and learn than not do anything at all. And I think that's what's really important. And I think understanding on a personal level where you sit, where's your unconscious biases, and where, understanding all of that, because then I think you can be more authentic in your workplace and understanding the folk that you work with, I think. And I think we've done a lot of work around that at EssenceMediacom. In our recruitment and understanding the systems of oppression and making sure that, our company reflects modern Britain, because it's critical that we have that. The talent that you're missing out on is just, phenomenal. And I just think that I don't want to look around and just see me. With saying me, I want to see like Britain in my office and have those conversations and make sure that when we're doing the advertising, as I say, that it is authentic. And we've done some great work, with some brands, Tesco, for example, across Ramadan, or working with partners like Amalia, or Black Ballad across Black History Month. And these are obviously key moments that we have to continue to support,
yes.
Absolutely. But for me, it's always on, and making sure that everybody across the business understands to open up conversations and have those conversations. Because if we're not having the conversations, then nothing is going to change. And you're going to have to be brave. You're going to have some tough conversations. Of course. But we have to do it. And without those, then we don't see change.
So Emma,
yes,
we spoke about this being a journey, right?
Yeah.
It's not something we didn't build Rome in a day, so it's not going to change our industry in a day. But if you were to give the audience a little bit of like tips and tricks, where did you start in EssenceMediacom so that everyone kind of has an action point, or where can they start?
Yeah. So I guess it started with a lot of passion. We have a core group of people, a steering group that we have, that are just incredibly passionate about this. And we want to see change. And we want to see representation, and we want everybody to come to work and be themselves and just do great things. And I think that's been at the heart of all of this and it always has been, and it will continue to do that.
Personal engagement.
Yeah, and I think, speaking to leadership and getting, their support and their help, I suppose, to kind of like work across the agency. I think understanding the life or the journey of a brief and how that works, and how then we can be more conscious and how diversity and inclusion can be incorporated in that, but not for just key moments, right? It's not about all of those, and it's just understanding, right? I guess working in the implementation or planning side of things, just making sure that when we're working with partners, understanding the audiences to make sure that they are inclusive, right? And working with our partners and closely with Group M, to make sure that suppliers are understanding what our vision is, because we want to represent and mobilize Britain with authentic media. And that has to come, and work with suppliers that we might not have worked before. So we want to understand how we can impact their business, understand how we can help them grow, and we can grow together with our brands. So it's, it's multifaceted how we work, and it's just looking at your business as a whole and understanding, the touch points of a plan, or how you're working with your brand, and just making sure that you have, groups of passionate people that are going to be, I guess, your kind of allies or represent that will champion those partners and ensure that, when we're working with the likes of The Voice, or we're working with, the Gay Times, for example, or Attitude Magazine, these are great partners of ours, and just understanding, their communities and how that can be involved. So I think passion is a starting point, speaking and working with your leadership, and then understanding how that can then be, worked throughout the agency in the different pockets and the different channels that you work with. So whether that's audio, whether that's online video, and understanding the partners that you need to bring along with that journey and support.
And when you say the majority of the briefs you're getting, we're talking from a programmatic standpoint now. Would you say the majority of the briefs and how you're being briefed to kind of buy consciously or, plan consciously, does that mostly come from brands or you as an agency, or is it a mix?
I think it varies brand by brand. I think sometimes you will have clients that, and more of our clients now that we're working with, we are having these conversations, open conversations about that. And so I think in some instances there's like, yes, we want to, we're here, we're supporting, we want to do this, and we want to make sure that, that we're including as many diverse audiences and focus possible. I think sometimes it's a partnership. What I think all of our, working with all of our brands is always a partnership, but I think sometimes it's like, okay, right, we have this idea, how can we implement this? Can we work together with you? And often it is ourselves coming up to them and going, right, this is your campaign, have you thought about this? Yeah. Can we include this? And so I think it's at different stages, and it is very much on a client by client or brief by brief basis. And
to start having those conversations, right? That's the core thing.
That's a fundamental, right? Is having those conversations. Because if we don't have conversations, then nothing's going to change. And it's really important. And you're going to have some difficult conversations. It's not going to be easy. And you're going to have to be brave and be also, things might not turn out how you expected, and be prepared for people to give you feedback and go, hey, right, that wasn't great. But unless you do things, you're not going to see any change. And I think that's what's really important, and understanding that there are many nuances, and that is scary. I get that, but if you don't do it, there won't be change. And that's one of the key things.
Yeah. And based on kind of the difficult conversations, what would you say are the biggest challenges for us as an industry today in kind of being more conscious, being more inclusive? And
I think it's trying to implement change and being brave, I think, and trying people to do that, because I think in many instances this is, in some instances this is the first time that brands might be, coming into this journey, etc. And I think that is barrier. I think also understanding scale is also a challenge, because, we have obviously very broad partners that have multiple reach, and you will have, diverse folk that will be, reading, let's say, The Guardian or, other news brands, or be on YouTube, etc. But, it's understanding the other audiences that you will see from, more diverse publishers, etc., and understanding the scale, because they're not going to have, they might not necessarily have, a huge reach, because they've not been given that chance yet, right? And it's just working with them consciously and just making sure, right, we're here to help you, but I don't want to overwhelm you, and I want to make sure that we're doing this in an authentic manner. But I guess those are some of the challenges, is implementing that change and having those open discussions, for sure. Education and mindset changes are really challenging, but then I think from a scale perspective, and just making sure that we have that reach, that we can touch on those folk.
Makes complete sense, I think. And if you were to leave this conversation today, leaving us with 2 of your best tips to being more inclusive, what would those 2 tips?
Be brave, be bold, and have those conversations, I think is my number 1. And don't give up. Have passion. Don't give up. Just you gotta keep doing it. And I think looking at yourself, and I think trying to understand and being more compassionate about other folks' journeys and what they might be facing, I think is really important. Because this starts at the beginning, right? It starts at home. It starts with your family and all of this stuff. And I think, we need to have those conversations. So be bold, be brave, and have passion. Approach that.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been great. Thank you.